To find Osorio, gets the header, and it's in. And it hits the bar, and the assistant referee, that one will go in finally after the box. And gets by. David, and another goal for Team Canada.
And on it went. Talk about offensive firepower there. Canada's men's national soccer team with their eyes on the big prize. Fresh prospects, young legs, gearing up to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The head coach of Canada's men's national soccer team is John Herdman. Look who's in studio with me again. It's always great to have you drop by.
Great to be back.
Thank you, John, for coming in. On your way, the road to Qatar leads through Toronto, but leads short-term to Alliston for training camp.
Yeah, we're in camp this weekend. We get the boys ready for the game in Toronto. We've not been back home for a while. I think it's been a year since we've played at home. So we're going to play against Dominica.
Yes.
It's going to be a good game.
That's October the 16th.
That's right.
So coming
Tuesday
up,
night. Make sure you're there.
Make sure. As you said, haven't been back in a long, long time. What do you think it's going to be like to play?
Well, I think the exciting thing is we're bringing our biggest guns. That all the top players have committed to be here. So for any youngster, parents bringing their kids, they're going to get to see the cream of the crop in Canada. And some very young players. Alphonse Davies, Bayern Munich, Balou Tabla from Barcelona. There's some top players going to be there.
Okay, hold that thought, because I want to talk about next generation, but I do want to talk about how you're looking already. Gearing up for this October 16th, we've already seen some amazing things. If we can go back to that highlight reel, it was at 8-0 win for Canada over the U.S. Virgin Islands. So that's an awfully nice... This is all part of CONCACAF Nations League qualifying, right?
That's
so this was the first game. And in that, every goal counts. So getting those 8 goals was pretty important.
Yeah, it was. And I think one of the biggest things was just shifting the mindset of the players as well. We set a target at the beginning to make history, which was to get the highest goal record. And, some of the players were a little bit, whoa, really? Is this what we're going for? And once they shifted that mindset, I think now they can see if they commit their minds, anything's possible, because there's so much talent in this group. So, coming into this Dominica game, it's a tougher opponent, but the mindset will be there. I think that the team will be ready to push on and make sure we do get that goal difference, because that will count. The top 6 teams go through to the Nations League Group A, which means next year at this time, we get a chance to play against the US, Mexico, Costa Rica. And that's critical.
Upper tier.
It is. You need that on the journey towards the World Cup.
2-0-0 over Dominica so far for Canada. That's the record. So, there is some confidence going on. But I want to talk about the youngsters who put on that performance. 4 teenagers in your roster at that point. And you're going to add even more. This is a young Canadian team that you're working with.
Yeah. Look, I believe in young players. I've always believed in young players. I think sometimes people underestimate that, they have that capacity to actually perform at a higher level at 17, 18, 19. But when you look at some of the greats, some of their best years have been very early in their careers. So I buy into that, but more importantly, it's the culture you create for these players. It's really important. So getting that blend of veterans, the veterans who can bring that wisdom at a certain time. And that culture then, if it's right, these young players tend to play with no fear and they just go out and be themselves. And the veterans tend to take all of the other stuff away from them. So, look, I think we've got that blend, and I think people will see the sort of spirit on the field in the game against Dominica.
So that's, as we said, on the 16th. Let's highlight just some of those young players, because they're names to watch for. One we're already hearing about, Alphonse Davies, featured in the Nike Just Do It campaign, of course, because of his incredible story coming as a refugee from Ghana. But off to, as you said, Bayern Munich, #1 team in Germany.
Yeah. I mean, when have we ever seen a Canadian soccer player sit between LeBron James and Serena Williams on a Nike ad?
True.
I mean, things are changing, and players like Alfonso, they're sending a really clear message, I think, to every young player in this country. I think he's sent a message of hope to many young players, but for him now to move on to Bayern Munich, and if he can make it there, which I think we all think he can, then that changes everything for our country.
Amazing.
Like, there's a flag that gets flown in Europe at the highest level that just takes the bar up for every kid. People don't aim here anymore. They start to see what's possible.
So we've got Liam Miller, who's playing as part of the Liverpool organization.
Yeah.
Balou Tabla, who's with
Barcelona.
Hello.
And Busty at Juventus.
Okay, so these are all, you know, you say those teams, and you know that Canadians are playing on those teams, as you said. You know, it just gives them that international exposure at a young age that you can build on, I guess.
Well, I think, you know, you think of Alessandro Busti, he was training with Cristiano Ronaldo in the summer. So, you know, even just being in those environments has to do something for your psychology as a player, but also to then learn the habits of those players, to be around those players. I feel like those players can bring that back to our culture. We've typically had one or two, the Scott Arfields of this world, that have lived at that level. But these young players are seeing it right from the inception of their careers. So, again, I just feel like we're starting to build a stronger DNA in our younger players where their mindsets are going to be for big games.
I have some archives that I think we're going to show. You have to go back deep into our archives to find the last time Canada was at a World Cup. I mean, you know it. I don't need to tell you that. You know, you have to go back to 1986. This is, you know, look at the quality of the video that we're showing. So, you know, this is all part of the plan, right? Qatar 2022. Look at that.
Well, look, we've shown these clips to the players.
Really?
In my opening meeting, I showed a clip of two of the players carrying the flag after they qualified in St. John's, Newfoundland, and said, look, there'll be a moment that we're going to capture that will change this game in this country forever. So we will have the 2026 World Cup, but 2022 will be the foundation for that success. And this group of men can be the last team to earn that right. They won't be given that right. The people behind the scenes earn that right by bringing it here. But this group of men will be that last to earn it. And that's a big mantle for that group. So for all of us, I think we've bought into, we know we can change this game through 2022 qualification forever. And that's what we're going after.
That's why you took on this challenge. I mean, last time we were speaking, of course, you were coaching the women's national team. Yeah. January, you made this big switch to lead the men to this level. And so far, I mean, based on what we've been talking about, it sounds like you're excited about it. How's the transition been for you, and how personally do you feel about the road ahead?
The transition was bloody tough, I'll be honest. You know, there was a lot of questions around my competency, and can a woman's coach work with men? I mean, some of the misogynistic views out there. But it brought a lot of discussion, which was interesting. Whether a guy coach can, you know, make it. You know, can he actually make it? This guy in this men's world now. So I think going in there was just something about being yourself. I remember speaking with my wife for my first camp and saying, you know, this is going to be tough. And she said, just be you, like be authentic. And so I haven't changed anything. It's crazy to say, like, I'm getting little bits of feedback from the players on what might be working and what's not. But I haven't actually changed anything. I've approached it exactly how I was working with
the women,
Christine and the crew there. And, you know, the guys seem to be responding well, and we're moving forward to the goal.
Which is exactly what the women did. You took them to unbelievable heights. Best of luck as you set out in the early stages of this road. But it's exciting to watch. John Herdman, thanks for coming by.